Oh, good. Yes. Okay, we still have some energy. Oh my God, we're getting close to the end of the day. There's a lot of content at these things. I appreciate. Thank you for bearing with us, sort of moving through the 3 o'clocks, which I know are kind of hard. I'm gonna plug in my laptop here quickly, and we're gonna get rolling without a delay because we're actually a little bit behind time, only 5 minutes, and so. I'll share my entire screen. Wonderful. Okay, can we get the slide? Okay, awesome. All right, so hello. We are going to talk here about Q Business, Q and QuickSight, and how you can leverage these really fantastic new AI capabilities to get insights from your data. My name is Zach, and I lead product for Q in QuickSight. I've been at AWS for just about 2.5 years. Before that, I was at a startup where I was a customer of AWS, led the cloud team and data science. And then I was at Tableau. So I did analytics, ran Tableau Server Public and Mobile, and I was at Microsoft for 16 years. So I've been doing data and AI a very long time. And what excites me the most about the current moment is that data is such a powerful tool. We all know this. Who thinks data is powerful? Let's go. Okay, some of us think it's powerful. Data is such a powerful tool, but it can be used for good, or it can be used for evil. Like, I have this friend, and he used to do this talk that he called lying with data. And we would go to this conference, and he would just go through, he had this like black hat, white hat thing he would do, and he would switch hats. And then when the black hat was on, he would show you like all the ways that you can deceive or mislead or, just misinform people with information. And so this moment that we're in is really fascinating because now we're finding, just as we had talked about earlier today, these large language models, they've been trained on the entire body of the internet, which has all manner of opinions about all manner of things, is now in their brain. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how can we then make best use of that information. Joining me today is Fatima. She's going to introduce herself when she comes up. But if we sort of think about the meaning of data, the purpose of data, is anyone familiar with this data visualization? Anyone? Yes? Hand raised? Yes. Do you know? Could you say? Yeah. Do you know which one this is? Yeah. So this is a very famous statistical example by one of the sort of world's leading statisticians who showed visually causes of mortality in the British Army. And what she was able to do with this is she was able to, if you could see like the colors of the wedges, she was able to illustrate these sort of red wedges are people that are dying of combat. The black are all other causes. The blue are preventable. So this person was Florence Nightingale, and she created this data visualization, started showing it around to people, and it changed their mind about what was important. And so what she was able to do as a result is introduce the idea of the modern, clean operating room. So before this, these medical tents were filthy. People were becoming infected. Their life expectancy was reduced as a result. And through data, she was able to affect a real change. And that's what I'm excited about, is this idea that data can solve real problems. Okay, so where does that leave us then? Today we have this really great tool called Amazon QuickSight. This is, if you were the keynote today, Amazon's general purpose BI service. It can be used with all of your structured data. We have rich interactive reporting. We have pixel perfect reporting, which is kind of a neat capability we launched a couple of years ago. And it is designed as an AWS service to scale to sort of any number of people. In fact, we've got at Amazon a single account that has 300,000 active users in it, over 1 million users, and it's fine. Like, the performance works. And so to me, I've worked in all these different companies, like, the actual scale is really an accomplishment. Because what this means is now you can put data at people's fingertips in the entire organization. Now, so having QuickSight is one thing, but are people adopting? And so what we're seeing is, over time, more and more people are then taking this capability and making it not just a tool within their environment, but they're actually standardizing on it. So they're saying, OK, we can give this now to everybody, and then we can maybe put some tools here and there that solve other problems. And they're seeing real benefits from this. So for example, some customers that we've talked to, and we've sort of had the sort of economic benefits modeled, are seeing these benefits of like 74% sort of lower costs. This is, these are great. But really what we care about is the impact that you can have, so the things that you can do. And so that's where we get to talking about Q. Q is our natural language capability. It allows you to ask and answer questions of data in order to gain insights that go beyond your dashboards. So this is a critical capability, allows business users to inform decisions so that they can go forward without calling the IT team to build a sort of new solution for their problem. And so we're seeing also this sort of advent of new capabilities in this space. This sort of data Q&A is really powerful, but people are also beginning to tell data stories. And so we've built a capability for that. And so now you can create, it's like a document or slides, and in multiple parts illustrates what's going on in a body of data. And the large language models can explain to you what it thinks that means. We've also recently, just to like illustrate this point of scale and try to make this more accessible to the entire organization, just made it possible for you to enable Q&A on every dashboard in your organization with a single click. Now, this is really valuable, and the reason that this is valuable is that dashboards already have the business logic, the encoding of information that is necessary to interpret your data. Show of hands from the audience, how many of you have tried taking your data lake and loading it into the large language model to see if it can answer questions? No? None of you tried that. Does anyone want to say why you would not try that? Anyone? The LLM won't have a clue what to look for because it's not organized, it's unstructured. Yeah, it's true. Like, our data is actually a language. Have you ever thought about it that way? Like, we design this data, but it has a purpose, and then it has specific values, but only we really understand what those values mean. We've got internal terminology, we've got internal names that we call things, we've got internal ways that we count them. So all of this actually matters. So what we're doing by allowing people to create a Q&A on top of a dashboard is we're inheriting all of those semantics. Everything that's been defined there. Use this field with that field. Aggregate this measure that way. These are the kinds of filters that should apply to this data. And so what we're seeking to do by putting it at the dashboard level is to scale. We want to disaggregate the decision making. So now every department, as they're doing their work, as they're curating their data, as they're encoding their own specific business rules, they're also informing the AI. They're informing Q about how questions should be answered against this data and what types and varieties of questions are answerable. Okay, we're seeing some great success with this. Amazon has been working closely with BMW. It's one of my favorite cases. These guys are great because they have these sort of fleets of vehicles, and they're constantly shifting. They're constantly in motion, and so they need to have an ability for the fleet manager to see, okay, where do we have a gap right now in vehicles? Where can we source vehicles that is a reasonable place, like a sort of close distance? And then I can make the business decision to sort of move those assets around. And I love this quote, Amazon Q and QuickSight is the high-performance fuel our demanding teams consume to get precision answers fast. That's obviously like precision answers fast is very important to BMW. But, okay, there's a but. It turns out we have these great capabilities. You can build dashboards, you can answer questions of data, you can build stories and share them with other people in order to sort of reach a consensus in your organization. There are still underserved people. I'm talking to customers and they're saying to me, Q can't answer this question. Q can't answer that question. Why not? The answer is because the approach that we have been taking in this industry so far is what we call SQL generation. So you write a query in English or another language. You convert that query into a SQL statement. You run that statement against some structured store. It can only do what a single call SQL statement can do. So turns out customers have questions like, well, what were all the contributors to sales being down in Ireland last month? Like, that's the question they have. Like, their question is not a single query. Like, their question is often, a bunch of time for someone to go dig around in data. And so we see the people that have these questions are oftentimes not professional database analysts. So they don't have necessarily SQL skills. They don't necessarily know the underlying table structures. And so examples could be like marketing team, you've got product managers, these people in sort of different roles. So what can we do to help these people? That's why we introduced in preview at reInvent this year scenario analysis in Amazon Q. And so this is a fully agentic, so it's a rethought experience for analyzing data. And so for the first time, instead of you just giving it instructions, what you're doing is you're telling it outcomes. So I need to understand what's going on in my business. Help me get there. And now the agent acts as a partner with you. And it helps you to step through individual cases of analysis. So let's see what this actually looks like. So this is scenarios in QuickSight. And you'll see here I can just start by telling it what I want to achieve. So I want to understand trends in marketing campaign performance. I'm going to select data. And so I can choose from my existing dashboards. So here I go. I'm going to select some specific visuals. That's really useful. Turns out that our marketing campaign data only goes through the end of 2023, though. And so I want to go get the 2024 data. So I'm going to add this, and then I'm going to go get the Excel file that has all the other data. I'm going to drag it in here. Q is seamlessly going to combine that information. It can figure out the joins, can actually normalize data to make that work. It can clean data. And then it's going to make recommendations about how we might then analyze this data. And so what it's done is it's looked into the actual data itself. It's decided, okay, based on your business goal, what are some interesting analyses you may perform? And it's making some recommendations. So it's saying, hey, return on ad spend. That might be good for you. It's got a few other suggestions. So I'm going to say, yes, I'll take the return on ad spend. And this starts a thread of analysis. And that thread is contextual. So while that's going on, I can start another one. I can say, hey, I want to analyze Instagram ad performance. So I'll do that on the side. And then I can start another one. So I can continue to sort of build these threads. Now, each thread is also explorable. So here I'm going to see, as I go through, it will give me the direct answer, which is, hey, LinkedIn is the thing that's showing you the highest return on ad spend. Well, that's fine, but how did it get there? And it's showing me its work. So it's saying, hey, I saw in your data that you had this revenue field, this total cost field, and I know that return on ad spend can be calculated from that. So I created a table with a calculation and sort of built that table. Okay, well, that's interesting. It's also going to give me a breakdown that says, okay, what does this mean? Like, how does LinkedIn compare to some of the other channels? I mean, that's useful. So now I'm seeing like how the return is for that relative to alternatives and whether that's a big return. And then it makes some recommendations. So it says, hey, you know what? LinkedIn has this huge return on ad spend. You should just go whole hog into LinkedIn. Great, let's do it. I'm not totally convinced. I need some more information. So I'm going to ask it a follow-up question. OK, Q, can you tell me within LinkedIn how were the campaigns? And so now I can break down, this is like a very different kind of question, can break down individual campaigns. It can analyze those. And it remembers that we're doing a return on ad spend, because that's within this contextual thread. And so I didn't tell it that that's what I wanted it to do. It just kind of continued forth. Now I could see, oh, there's this membership drive, virtual workshop series. Like, these are doing very well. These are kind of interesting. You know, what is Q now going to say about this analysis? Well, it says, oh, these seem to be engagement-focused campaigns. That's kind of interesting that those do well on this social media platform. So it's calling out a specific insight. OK, well, then what would happen if I increased my spend on those campaigns by 50%? And now Q is able to build a model to make a forecast. And now this is a very simple model. So what it's going to do is it's going to assume that return on ad spend is linear. It's going to play that forward at a different investment rate. And then it's going to tell me, hey, based on this linear assumption, you would get to this amount of dollars. So this is actually a complete analysis at this point. But you and I are skeptical because we know that linear is not necessarily assumable. So Q knows that as well. And it says, hey, by the way, you know, we just did a linear assumption. You know, you should know there are some risks with that. You know, LinkedIn can change their algorithm. You may reach saturation with your campaign. So that might not work. And in our testing, I've seen it do a wild variety of different kinds of forecasting approaches to achieve different things. And so this linear is just kind of one example of what it'll do. So that's the scenario analysis capability that we're bringing. And GoDaddy is one of the customers that's sort of using this today. And I still remember the sort of moment of light in Nick's eyes as he was looking at this thing, and he was like kind of skeptical, like, I don't know, like, is it gonna, you know, how is this thing, this AI analysis thing? And then it was just, wow, it found that trend? Like, I didn't know that was in there. You know, it's I think a new experience. It's going to like take people a minute to kind of, you know, understand these things. But we're seeing these, I would just say, moments of magic. And so then how does this kind of come together with Amazon Q Business? We talked about Amazon Q Business as the sort of most capable AI assistant for doing work. And QuickSight is also a tool for work. So it turns out that every pro user of QuickSight also has access to Amazon Q Business. So this is a common offering. This is actually one set of tools for people to do work. And so what can we do with that? Well, we can bring them together. So QuickSight has access to all your structured data. Amazon Q has access to all of your unstructured data. And customers are telling us, they're saying, actually, to answer most of these business questions, you have to get information from both sources. So now you can. So now when you build a story in QuickSight, you can have it bring insights automatically from Q Business from an index. And that index can contain documents from, for example, SharePoint. You can also upload individual documents to have it consider those things as a part of the stories that it builds. Q can also draw on this index when answering questions in Q&A. So now when I say, hey, I want to know, about top-performing products, I can get insights about the products and how they are defined through a narrative that is sort of coupled up with the answers to my questions. And so now, coming to the stage to tell you a bit more about Q Business is Fatima. Welcome, Fatima. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Fatima Khakwani. I am part of the Amazon Q Business go-to-market team. Fun fact about me, my first job out of college has been AWS, and I have been I'm the longest standing member of the AI ML org, the go-to-market team. And the reason why I'm still here is because year after year, when we see all the impact that is being generated by our AI ML services and how customers like yourselves are able to transform your businesses and solve your business problem, it really, really ignites our passion and fuels us and drives us to deliver more on your behalf. So like Zach mentioned, Amazon Q Business is basically built to help with business use cases and increase productivity of your users by augmenting the work that they're doing with the power of GenAI. With the help of Amazon Q Business, they can now query data which may be residing across a multitude of repositories. Like we know customer data or company's data is not siloed in one particular location. Your data might be spread across, say, Confluence, Google Drive, Dropbox, SharePoint, ServiceNow, Zendesk, to name a few. And Q is able to basically get and allow your users to search across all of these multiple data sources concurrently. And once it gets information it needs, it can do things like help you create content, write emails which mimic your tone and personality. You can ask it to create blog posts. And last but not the least, once you have the information, you can also perform actions through agents on it. For instance, I can run a query that says, show me all tickets assigned to me in ServiceNow. And once Q brings me that data, I can say things like create a new ticket or update this ticket with this information, close this ticket out. And Q makes it very easy and seamless for users to do that. I'm going to just, as you can see here, this is our out-of-the-box experience. This is the web-based. We also have APIs if you want to embed it into your own experiences. This is the prompting window. You can ask questions here. And it also gives you some starting prompts as well, just to encourage your users to help them understand all the things they can do with the data they're looking for. Everything you see here from the logos, et cetera, can be white labeled for your organization if you choose. And once you get your responses, your users have the option to say thumbs up, thumbs down. If they don't like a response, we also have a text box where they can indicate why they didn't like the response. Was it incomplete? Was it inaccurate? Was the data outdated? What happens is we curate all this information in an admin dashboard so that the administrator who is sort of running this at the back end, all of the insights go to the administrator. And so they can understand what sort of topics are their users querying. Some of our customers love that feature because they're like, we know what sort of trainings we need to do for our users. What topics are they confused about? If they end up getting outdated information, your administrator can go and delete that document out altogether so that if you delete it even outside of the index, it is deleted within the Q index. And I'll talk about the index shortly. But once you get the responses, you can see you have citations in the response. So you can click those citations to see what part of a certain document was leveraged to create that response. And not just that, as you can see, once you have the response at the bottom, it says sources. You can click that. And then if your user wants to double click into those sources and see the entire doc that was used for it, they have the option of doing that as well. And right here, you have the option of, like Zach said earlier, not just querying indexed information, but if you want to upload a file directly, which says on your laptop, and perform actions like summarize it, et cetera, you also have the capability of doing that in real time. One thing we have done with Amazon Q Business is really democratize the process of creating apps. Users can say in natural language, create me an app that, for example, helps me write sales scripts if I tell you who the customer industry is and what the service is. And Q app in seconds is generated and can help you streamline your daily task. You can have applications which are HR specific for, say, job hiring and job matching and training. You can have IT-related apps, et cetera. And once you have all of these apps created and you want to share it with other people within your org, you can publish it to the library. Every user in your particular org is able to access that library and leverage these apps that might have been created and can help them also streamline their daily tasks. So how do you verify which app is approved by the admin and which isn't? We have sort of the functionality of the blue tick, which sort of says that this is approved by administrators. And then you can also maintain, if you want to have, say, your chat history up to 7 days, 30 days, you also have the option of doing that. And for auditability purposes, you can have the entire log stored in your admin dashboard, which will be accessible to the administrator alone. Some aspects of Q Business, like any other AWS service, it is built to be secure and private. So your data is only used to train your models, never the service itself, and never used to improve other customers' models as well. You can execute actions across multiple plugins, and it respects access controls as well. So say if a user does not have access to information or a document outside of Q, they will not have access to information or that source within Q as well. And I'll talk a little bit how we do that. It connects to 30 plus and 40 plus connectors we have out of the box. And if you have, say, something like an HR system like Bamboo HR or, for example, Workday, which are popular, but we don't have an out-of-the-box connector yet for either of these enterprise systems, you can leverage custom connectors to get that functionality and pipe in data from them as well. And lastly, you can also apply guardrails. So certain topics, for instance, if somebody's asking for financial advice or there's profanity being used, Q will not respond. So you can fine-tune that as well. Outside of that, we understand that sometimes, while your data may be in an unstructured format, you have, say, flowcharts, diagrams, other visuals where a lot of important information is stored and needs to be leveraged when we are generating a response. So now Q is able to get that information and insights from visual content, which is embedded in your PDFs and other files, and leverage that when it is generating a response. Now, we support PDF, Word, Google Docs, PowerPoint slides, etc. All of that can be leveraged in creating a response. And not only that, we understand sometimes you need to just actually include the diagram in the response itself. So now you will get the unstructured response plus any visuals that support the response as well. This is a short diagram that explains how we are leveraging ACLs to ensure security and document privacy. So at the time of ingestion, you can see leveraging one of our connectors, you can ingest information into the vector index, which is the Q index. At the time of this ingestion, not only are we ingesting the text, extracted text from these documents, we are also mapping in and ingesting your access control list, which define which users and which user groups have access to certain documents. So now, when a user is going to initiate the query, we will first talk to your identity provider. Say it could be Okta or any of the others out there in the market. We support all of them. And then we will check that does this particular user and user group have access to the document. If it does, only then Q will leverage that particular document to generate a permissions-aware response. So you never have to worry about information leaking across employees within an organization because it is built to be safe and secure. These are some of the plugins that are listed here again, and we support a multitude of actions across these enterprise systems, right? We know that even when you're getting responses, you might want to then take the next action. So RAG-based querying, et cetera, is a place where a lot of these GenAI journeys for our customers begin. But very soon, and we are seeing a big trend, industry shift, as well as across our customers, where agentic AI is the direction they're heading in. So with the use of Q agents, we are now able to support actions such as create records, update records in Salesforce, PagerDuty, Teams, ServiceNow, Jira. That's a big one for us. And it helps you create actions across all of these plugins on behalf of the user. So basically understanding in natural language what the user wants and then orchestrating that query across these out-of-the-box plugins. And like I said, not just these, we also offer the custom plugin capability. So if the particular enterprise system you're looking to take an action in is not listed here, we can still support that by orchestrating with the help of our custom plugins. I do want to talk about one major key area of investment for us is the fact that we realize that typically bringing users to where Q is sort of hampers the workflow in the day-to-day life of your users. So the whole objective is now to bring the power of Q to where your users are spending the most time, right? So it could be now embedded in your Slack gateways. If you are using MS Teams, you can embed Q directly there, ask for information directly there, and take action. We have also launched a browser extension. We have Word and Outlook plugins as well. So while you are writing emails, you can say, summarize this entire thread, because you might not have time to go through some 12 emails that have gone back and forth on a topic, and Q will do that. And then by imitating your personality and style, it can even craft a response. Similarly, if you're writing a document in Word, you can just ask Q to help you write the document and pull in all the company information needed to complete that task for you. These are some of the main, I would say, top 3 trending use cases we are seeing customers leverage today. So searching for information is definitely key, but one main area customers are leveraging this for is customer support and IT support, right? So being able to find information on behalf of your customers, whether they're your internal users or external customers, and then giving your users that information and then creating a ticket on behalf of those users is key. Knowledge management is another big one. Smartsheet has currently deployed Q Business as part of their Slack gateway, where employees can go and find information about a lot of policies, HR, compliance information, etc. And then the last one is human resources, so hiring, expediting onboarding cycles as well. Deriv, one of our customers, has reported 45 to 50% savings. We have NFL using this for the same HR onboarding as well. And Proofpoint is another customer that has reported 40% savings in administrative tasks for their users, right? So the idea is to free up all of this time for your users, and so that they can invest this time that is being freed up in more important tasks, such as communicating to your customers and doing other tasks that are more meaningful. And lastly, we are also launching a capability called Q Business Automate, which can help automate your workflow. So say you have an auto insurance claim, you can literally upload the SOP or record yourself executing that workflow, and Q will essentially automate it on your behalf. Before I end, I just want to say that you can definitely scan this code to learn more. We are here. We'd love to partner with you to ideate on your POC journey. If you are looking for hands-on keyboard support, we have an entire QCST team set up that can help work with you and help you with these POCs and sort of implementation. We also have Ramya here, who is heading our Q success team as well. And she's helping customers like yourself with user adoption and training and how to ensure that once you deploy these solutions in production, how can your users gain the maximum out of it? So please reach out to us. And once again, thank you for your interest and time.